Hello everybody, we're going to take a look at a PEMDAS problem, order of operations, and this one includes absolute value brackets. So we'll analyze that and see how to solve it. There's an overview here with a review of PEMDAS or an intro to PEMDAS. We also have the order of operations challenge, which will have some higher orders of math in there. As usual, the GED formula sheet's available and a language possible. Your page might also be available in your own language. So please check out those links. When I finish this video, it'll be available here. There'll be a screenshot of my tablet here to show you what your homework, your worksheet should look like when you turn it in. More practice if you need it right here. And these are PEMDAS problems, 5-step or 6-step. And then the GED formula sheet, also available here if you need it. And probably not really useful for this particular problem, but you should be familiar with what's on here. So let's get started. I've copied the problem over to this page, and one thing I suggest is counting the number of operations in this problem before you start. So let's do that. We'll use a different color, and there's an operation here. Just put a line over it. And there is an unwritten operation here. There's an operation here, an unwritten operation, multiplication there, and then another operation here. So also, I'm going to mention that absolute value, when you take the absolute value of a number, you might want to include it as a separate operation, because if it's a negative number, it will become positive. If it's a positive number, it will remain positive. So just so you have a space to do that calculation, you might want to consider that its own operation. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different operations going on. And according to PEMDAS, PEMD, A, or S. We're going to we're looking for parentheses first of all, and we do have some parentheses here. We've got parentheses here, and then also in the parentheses category are these absolute value brackets. So parentheses includes parentheses, hard brackets, curly brackets, absolute value brackets, and also the line between the numerator and the denominator in a fraction. So those are all places where you want to do all the math first on within those boundaries before you move on. Okay, next thing we're looking for is exponents. We don't have any here, but this also includes square roots or cube roots, any kind of root, arithmetic root. And then multiplication or division, and we do have a couple of those, so let's mark those in red. We've got an implied multiplication there and one here. So whatever happens, those are going to go early on. But not until we've done everything in the parentheses or brackets first, okay? And then the other operations are subtraction. And for our purposes, now that we are using the term combine, we combine terms, we can treat these subtraction operations as negative signs for these numbers. And if you want, you can put in, this is a positive 51 and a positive 9 and a positive 3 here, and we can consider these positive and these numbers negative. So let's decide what order we're going to do these operations in. So going through this PEMDAS cycle, we're going to look at the P's. So we do have these absolute value brackets, right? And so once you find one, you're going to restart this algorithm, go through PEMDAS again. And once we're inside these absolute value brackets, we're going to start looking for parentheses again. And we do find some, okay? So we would restart that algorithm, looking further for parentheses of any of these kinds, but there aren't any more. So we are just going to look at the operation there, right? We have subtraction. So this would be our first operation. That's number one, first. Okay. So once we have our difference, this is a subtraction problem, so the answer is the difference. Once we have our difference, we're going to multiply that by, we're going to do this multiplication. Oops, is that too high up? This is number 2. Number 2, can barely see it. Number 2 is this multiplication. And we're going to consider this a -5 for this purpose, right? So it would be -5 times whatever this difference was, okay? And then we will still be within the absolute value brackets, and we will have a product of -5 and whatever this difference was, and that will have an operation attached to it, either plus or minus, and that will be our third operation. And then our fourth operation will be taking that number outside of absolute value brackets, okay? So that's just so we don't forget to do that. And then after that, we will have no more brackets. We will have multiplication here, so -2 times something. And that's going to be our fifth. And then last of all will be this plain operation, either addition or subtraction, with involving this +51. So this will be 6th. So not everyone considers this removal of the absolute value brackets as a step, but when you're new, it's good to include every step so you have a better chance of getting the right answer. So let's go ahead and follow that order. +3 minus 8. So we have different signs for these numbers, right? A +3 and a -8. That means we take the difference between 3 and 8, which is 5. And then we look at the numbers. 3 is smaller than the absolute value of 8. 3 is smaller than 8. So the sign that's on the larger number survives. And we've got -5 here. I'm going to keep these brackets here for one step and then copy down all the rest of these numbers. -2 and then +51. And we just bring down, after each step, it's a good idea to just bring down all your all the other numbers. All right, we're just trying to get the right answer. So really important when it comes time to taking a test. So we've got -5 here, and we're multiplying that. That's our second operation. -5 times -5. And that's going to give us +25, right? So this is a +25. We've got a +9. We'll just bring down everything else, a -2 and a +51, okay? So we're just going to bring down the other numbers. And this is we just did our second calculation, right? So now we're still working inside these brackets, right? So we don't have these parentheses anymore, but we do have the brackets we're still inside. And we have +9 plus 25. So when the signs of the numbers are the same, you combine the values. So 9 plus 25, that's 34. And you take the value, you could think of it as taking the sign of the larger number. So it's not going to be any different. All right, so we have +34, and then bring everything down. And then here is where we're going to remove those brackets, right? So +34, when it comes outside the brackets, is still +34. So we're just going to have that as a separate step. So +34 and -2 and +51. So these are our next steps. So now we are at the point where we have only addition and subtraction. So we work from left to right, right? So we have a +51 and a -2. We're going to combine those to get +49. And then we're going to put bring down the other number. And here's where we do our last combination. we have 49 plus 34. And what I like to do is take 1 from the 34 and add it to the 49 to get 50. And then you have 33. So 50 plus 33 is 83. And this would be our final answer. And so we had 6 different operations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we had 6 different steps. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To get our answer. So this is what your worksheet should look like as you work through this, and I really think you'll get better results if you write out every step. As soon as you start taking shortcuts, you're going to make a mistake. At least I do. So that's my advice to you. All right, so try these out. There is that practice problem sheet here. More practice. You can work these. And as always, the answers are on the second page. And they do work these out each step separately. So those will be good to study. But be sure to try to work them out on your own before you look at the answers. All right. I'm looking forward to hearing from you if you need help. Talk soon.